All right, so that was Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with Union Minister Kiran Rijiju, along with Dr. Jitendra Singh, Arjun Ram Meghwal, as well as L. Murugan, felicitated by them, has now entered inside the parliament. He will be taking oath today, felicitated by the pro-tem speaker. Apart from him, then the Union Council of Ministers will also take the oath. Now, if we were to highlight the crucial points that the Prime Minister has mentioned while briefing the press, couple of things that he actually spoke about. He talked about opposition's unity along with the central government at this point of time, because he said that this is historic, that after 60 years any government has been trusted by the people of the nation to come into power for the third consecutive term. He said that we will do the proper analysis of the numbers, we will come back three times stronger next time. He also asked for opposition's unity in terms of bringing India to the level of becoming a Viksit Bharat. Apart from that, what else Prime Minister said while briefing the press? He said 25 crore people coming out of poverty is something commendable. People want work, not sloganeering from the opposition inside the parliament as well. Our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is back with us on the broadcast. Pallavi, something very crucial that Prime Minister also highlighted. He asked for a common consent from the opposition. He said that people of the nation, they don't want any sloganeering, they just want work, and to bring about a smoother parliamentary session, we will need everybody's consent for it.
So, Sakshi, I'm just going to capture basically what the Prime Minister said, and he's doing a point-by-point rebuttal of every allegation which has come in from the opposition. We were talking about Ek Tihai Pradhan Mantri. We were talking about that this government doesn't have a mandate. Well, the Prime Minister has a very strong counter to that. He said the Niti and Niyat of my government in the last 10 years has got overwhelming support from the people, and that is why I've come back stronger and better for my third term. That's one response that he's clearly made to the opposition's allegations and their political points. Second, of course, he keeps on talking and reminding the opposition also that they too have a responsibility. Of course, you need a strong opposition. Of course, you need a voice which often contradicts the government, but that doesn't mean that you don't follow the rules yourself. You have to allow for dissent, but you also have to allow for a debate and a discussion which takes place. Third, there's a specific reason why Sakshi has mentioned emergency as being a blot on democracy. That's his message to a Congress party, that don't point a finger at me and accuse me of denial of parliamentary democratic norms. It's the Congress party which requires to do this introspection, relentlessly continue to look at the mirror, because they are the ones who impose emergencies. If anyone voted against the parliamentary norms, it's the Congress party. So these are the three big takeaways, I would say, from the Prime Minister's speech which he gave a short while back.
Definitely, and also how Prime Minister highlighted the number of young leaders this time inside the parliament. He said that we have now got good number of young leaders also representing their nation inside the parliament this time, Pallavi.
And a large number of first-time MPs also across party lines, below 25 age group, also MPs this time round. And again, the Prime Minister is using this to reach out to the young people, saying that the Parliament over the years is getting younger, more and more people are joining and winning elections. Again, I would say this is a counter really to the opposition parties who say that given the NEET controversy, it shows that this government does not even care as far as the young people of India is concerned. The Prime Minister is doing a clear outreach. So, especially the first-time MPs, normally the procedure often is that there's a kind of schooling of the first-time MPs who may not be very well-versed in the running of Parliament. There are little workshops which are conducted by senior and seasoned parliamentarians who teach them the rules. Maybe that is going to happen at a later date. But for many of the gawky first-time MPs, and large number of them are across party lines, also from the BJP, also in the national capital itself, again, the Prime Minister is making the point that they also need to be taught, and therefore unruly behavior going through a well sets a very wrong precedent, and therefore the opposition too has a right to dissent, but also it has to be done in a dignified manner.
Definitely, and that is why he sort of said that what the people of the nation want, they want more work and not the sloganeering inside the parliament. Pallavi, apart from that, Prime Minister also fleetingly highlighted the significance of number 18. He said that it goes way back, it is connected with Hindu Dharma, it is connected with Bhagavad Gita and the 18 chapters of it.
I'm just going to talk about what has been put out by the government in terms of sheer pictures. I'm just reading out that narrative, and I think this is important to also reflect about it. Is a picture of the Prime Minister and who was he flanked by when he walked inside and to the Makar Dwar. He was flanked by MPs, North, South, East, Northeast. From the north, Dr. Jitendra Singh. From the south, L. Murugan. From the west, Arjun Ram Meghwal. And from the east, northeast is Kiran Rijiju. The government calls it Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. That is, his government is going to talk about ekta, about unity, diversity, but at the same time, every train of thought, every region being represented by his government in terms of its policies and also inside the parliament. So these are very important optics and messaging which is going out from the Prime Minister as far as, these kind of his narrative is concerned. But I don't think the opposition is going to buy much of it. Reactions are already begun to start coming in from the opposition parties. The Jairam Ramesh has already, I'm going to quickly quote him as we put out those details where he calls him the non-biological Prime Minister, taking a barb at him and says that he has suffered a resounding personal, political and moral defeat. So despite the Prime Minister saying his niti and niyat has got a third time support from the people of the country, the Congress's line is going to be the same, that the Prime Minister has no moral right to hold the chair.
And there are two different things that should be highlighted here, Pallavi, that at one point of time, Prime Minister actually mentioned that, some sort of a consensus has to be made if you want proper functioning and, the smooth proceedings inside the parliament in terms of serving the people of the nation. But at the same time, he did not shy away from mentioning how tomorrow it will be 50 years of the emergency period.
Oh yes, I was talking about the emergency reference by the Prime Minister. Look, whether it's the choice of the pro-tem speaker, whether it is, the three criminal laws, in all of this, the point being used by the opposition parties is that the BJP consistently shows that they have no regard for parliamentary norms. That is the Prime Minister's counter to it. That, if you talk about denial of democracy, it is the opposition parties which really need to be shown the mirror. Because they were the ones, the Congress party was the one which had imposed emergency in 1977. So if anyone has to be apologetic, it is not us, but it is them. They don't allow debate and discussion. There's unruly behavior inside the Lok Sabha as well. That is again a denial of parliamentary norms. And the Congress's track record of being not tolerant as shown by the imposition of emergency is reason enough why the Congress should not be looking at the BJP and accusing it of being fanatics.
And also how he mentioned that this is going to be extremely significant because earlier all the sessions used to happen in the old parliament. This is the first time that session is going to happen in the new parliament. He sort of welcomed everybody. Pallavi, please walk us through the significance of that as well, how this one is going to be extremely historic.
Well, I think today the optics was also very powerful from both the sides. I mean, the opposition parties, of course, going into the parliament, holding a constitution, trying to make the point that they have fought hard and fought well to save the constitution. But the Prime Minister being flanked and Shresht Bharat, Ek Bharat, again, which I just spoke about, how leaders from all the four sides, ministers, whether it's from Dr. Jitendra Singh from the north, then you have Rijiju from east and northeast, you have L. Murugan from the south and Arjun Ram Meghwal from the west. That denotes a picture of unity in diversity as far as his government is concerned. That's one very strong point that he has made. But then today, when you look at the parliament building and the new one that we have been talking about since the inauguration, it again replaces and I think it depicts India's culture, its diverse culture. So you have, for example, pictures of the Ramayana, then you have the Sengol from south, all of it to show the fact that this is state of the art, this is modern, but it has also kept India's rich heritage intact.
Right, Pallavi, and in terms of the topics which are going to be discussed today that we are expecting opposition to raise inside the parliament, they have already made it very clear that they are definitely going to touch upon the matter of NEET UG examination as well as NEET PG being delayed at the same time. But to counter all of these attacks, is BJP going to touch upon the huge tragedy that recently happened?
See, frankly, if you look at the agenda which has been released, and this is for clarification, the only agenda which is listed today is the oath-taking ceremony, which is going to begin any time now at around 11 when the House is going to reconvene. Prime Minister is going to be the first one to take oath because he is the head of the government. Then he is going to introduce his cabinet